have to make the commitment to yourself and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you are going to prioritize yourself. And that might mean that you're going to be a little lonely for a little while. But in that loneliness, you find this beautiful connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you start to be more comfortable with being alone, and you become less lonely.
Assalamualaikum, queridas, and welcome back. I know it's been a while, so I wanted to go ahead and answer some questions that you guys sent me over the past couple months. And I just thought it would be easier for me to answer them all in one video. So let's get into it. How do you put yourself before others, especially when dealing with friends? So, interestingly enough, my 3 best friends I've had for 10 or 11 to 26 years. And then I have people I'm cool with, but those are my girls. And they're Christian and agnostic, atheist-ish. And when I started to really want to delve into Islam, and when I was kind of going through my quarter life crisis during the pandemic, where I was just like, I don't know what I learned is if that's culture, if that's religion, I don't really know. A lot of people were hounding me about questions about Islam, and I couldn't actually answer the questions because I wasn't well read. I just was raised Muslim, and I knew I was supposed to pray, I knew I was supposed to fast, I knew I was supposed to do all these things, but I didn't have a relationship with the Quran or really with Islam. I always believed in God. I always had a very strong pull towards there's something bigger than me, and I need to behave because I know that this all-seeing being is watching what I do and is expecting me to be a good person, put me here to be a good person, so I need to act right. But when I started really delving into my faith, I kind of ghosted people. And I let my friends know that I was kind of going through stuff. And if the people in your life really love you and they know that what you're doing is to better yourself and you're not being a bad friend, you know what I mean? Like, you're still checking in occasionally. But sometimes you need to disconnect from the world to reconnect to yourself and to reconnect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And people in your life who are also trying to improve themselves will get that, because people in general, when they're starting a business, when they're going to school, you kind of got to dip off people for a little bit, and you have to make the commitment to yourself and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you are going to prioritize yourself, and that might mean that you're going to be a little lonely for a little while. But in that loneliness, you find this beautiful connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you start to be more comfortable with being alone, and you become less lonely. Embracing solitude and being lonely are 2 very different things. And when you become a better version of yourself and start to genuinely love yourself, you start to really love that solitude, and it makes you more prepared to be in communion or community with other people and become more of a thermostat instead of a thermometer. When you haven't really figured out who you are as a person, your temperature kind of changes to the people around you. You know, they say that you're the summary of the 5 people that are the most closest to you. When you spend time getting to know yourself and getting to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and when you start chasing deen over dunya, then it becomes a lot easier to have your set temperature, and then naturally everybody around you kind of matches you. Not like they're fake, but if you're carrying yourself in a certain way, or you're saying I'm not comfortable doing these things, the people who you love will respect that, and they won't change who they are necessarily, but they will not drink around you anymore if your friends drink. They won't smoke around you. They won't be cussing around you. They won't be gossiping around you, because they know that that is who you are. You're strong in who you are, and they love you, so they don't want to make you uncomfortable. So that's what I would say. I know that was kind of long, but if you have the right friends, they'll understand. Just make sure that you're still checking in on them, and you let them know that, hey, I'm going to be backing away for a little bit. I need to do some growth, and I think that means I'm going to be a little disconnected for a little while. So please don't take offense to it if it seems like I'm being distant. It's not you. It's not you. It's me. Do you have any tips on getting out of your comfort zone? As a revert and someone who has a hard time speaking to people they don't know, I'm kind of scared and feeling out of place. I have an irrational fear of going to the mosque by myself. The language barrier doesn't really help either. In theory, I know how to make more friends, but when I try to put it in practice, I panic. So, as a lifelong introvert and social outcast. Not even really social outcast, more of just social nomad. I would just hop around from group to group. But what I found was really helpful for me, especially with as much moving around as I've been doing in my adult life, is making the first move. So a lot of times when you go to a new masjid or you go to a new Islamic center, people are already pretty familiar with each other, and especially if there's a language barrier or a cultural barrier, different cultures kind of click up in the masjid, and not even in a malicious way all of the times, but when you have somebody with a shared background, a shared language, it makes sense to kind of want to flock to those people and to make community with them. So it can be really hard to penetrate those groups. But what I found is most helpful is going in and going early if possible and talking to people. I know that sounds kind of self-explanatory, but when you go in and you smile and you shake everybody's hands and you give them the salams, usually if they've never seen you before, they're going to be like, where'd you come from? Like, who are you? We've never seen you before. And you start to make actual genuine connections with people. Ask them about them. People love to talk about themselves, and try to find some type of common ground. Go to halakas, go to sisters events. Typically a masjid, even smaller masjids, have group events. And I've found that with smaller masjids, I've gone to really big masjids, I've gone to small masjids, a lot of the times I like the smaller ones more because I found it's really easy to make community with those ones because there's not that many people. So it's easier to have a more successful masjid when it's smaller if everybody's kind of tight knit and everybody is cooperating. So if you are currently going to a big masjid, I would suggest looking for a smaller one in your community and going there. Using the bigger masjid for things like halakas, usually they can afford to have more events. Go to the events, talk to people, go outside of your comfort zone. It might be scary at first, but most people are really nice, especially in the Muslim community. I know that can be hard to think with how a lot of us be behaving online, but online is not reality. The more you go to in-person events, you go to, the more you put yourself out there, the more likely it is that you will have success in forming relationships. All of the girls that I met here that I am cool with now were at events. They were me going up and saying they had a cute outfit at Juma, or me just sparking up a conversation with somebody at a gym or just out in the wild, you know. Can y'all see me? Is it dark? Okay, I just lightened it up a little bit. Inshallah, that helps. Oh, hello, little buggy. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Okay. Assalamualaikum, sister. Where are you from? So I know there's multiple ways that this question is asked culturally. I am from upstate New York. My lineage is from all over the place, and I am distrusting of a lot of organizations, so I have yet to get a DNA test to actually see what all is going on up in here. But from what I know, African American, obviously, Lakota Sioux, Native American, Cherokee, Native American. I've heard there's some Chinese ancestry back in there. I guess one of my great grandfathers worked on the railroads. He came over from China. But I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just black. And I'm from upstate New York. I want to stop listening to music while working out. I'm used to it because it boosts mental energy and my body can't take the pain, but I want to stop it. How to replace music while working out, or how to start this practice. This is probably honestly one of the most difficult things that I dealt with in regards to cutting back and then giving up on music. Was I realized that I could not get a good workout in if I did not have my headphones. I remember literally days where I would go to the gym and I would sit in the car and just be like ready to turn, I'm not even joking you, turning around back to my house to get my headphones because I could not get a good workout in if I did not have a poppin' playlist on in my ears. And then I had to sit there and be like, why am I dependent on this external thing for me to have a good workout? That don't make no sense. I should be able to be internally motivated enough to get a workout in. So what I found is that working out can be an incredibly wonderful mindfulness practice, and working out in silence really allows you to get a mind muscle connection and let your brain have space to breathe. Now when I'm running, I don't think anyone likes running until they get into it, and I recently started running again, and I need a playlist. I do, but I put on this one of these two workout nasheeds, and they're kind of hype enough for me to, you know, feel like I'm getting pumped up to run. Now, for weightlifting and anything else, I do like to kind of work out in silence, or I work out listening to a podcast. Yakin Institute, those videos. People like Bahja, different people on YouTube. I'll walk on the treadmill, walk on the stair stepper, or weightlift, and I'll just kind of put that stuff on. But I really like being able to just be in my body. What about Reels, Shorts, TikToks? Almost all of them have music. Okay, so this was in response to my YouTube video about how I stopped listening to music. Hello. And my answer is, how much are those things contributing to your life anyways? I feel like a lot of times, am I still recording? Let me check. Girl, if I'm not still recording, I'm going to scream. Okay, no, I'm good. But yeah, how much is that stuff really contributing to your life? When you get real and you look at your screen time, music, I'm not going to lie, music can be amazing. If you see my last video, you know I was a musician for years, but I could not function without music. I could not be in silence. I could not drive in my car without music. I couldn't wash dishes without music. I was a human jukebox. There's still so much in there that if I even hear a beat, my brain immediately, it's playing in my head. But when you get real about your screen time and you look at that stuff, you realize that the music in there is designed to keep you listening and to keep you scrolling. When you listen to reels that are more educational and don't have any music in them, you get bored because there's no constant dopamine spikes. You're just learning information. And I think a good question for you to ask yourself is, why do you feel like you have to watch reels and YouTube videos? Not saying you shouldn't have fun and you shouldn't, enjoy things, but there's plenty of stuff that you could feed your mind and feed your body and feed your soul with that are not behind a phone. If you were born before the year 2000, I'll even give 2005. You know what life was like without social media? We a lot of us were happier. We were outside. We were, actually hanging out with our friends instead of just being on social media. And I love social media as a tool, but you shouldn't need it. And if you need to start off with just setting a screen time limit on your phone and just giving yourself an hour a day, which is plenty, to scroll on social media and then eventually start cutting it out, I would do that. It's not the best answer. I know it's probably not what you wanted to hear, but you don't really need that stuff. And this is another question to ask yourself. If you've been on social media for 10 minutes, I want you to think of the first 3 Reels, Shorts, or TikToks that you saw. Can you tell me what you saw? Can you tell me what they were about? Can you tell me the theme or anything about them? It's likely that you can't. So what is the actual purpose aside from brain rot that you're getting from mindlessly scrolling on TikTok and Instagram? And this is a message to myself too, because I still get caught up in it because I'm on here. I like to get ideas and inspiration and just look at people being so creative. And sometimes I'll mute it, but then other times I'm just I'm still scrolling. I still struggle with this. I'm not perfect. But yeah, just ask yourself that question. And I feel like that's a pretty good reality check. Okay, so this next one is, if I limit my screen time on YouTube and spend my time effectively or productive for Allah. I think this is essentially asking, is it bad if you are spending time learning? I don't think so, but I also think a lot of us get caught into this perpetual cycle of constantly learning and not implementing the information. I think especially for somebody who wanted to be on YouTube for so long and really wanted to start making content and just be creative on these platforms, I would spend so much time learning how to make good YouTube videos or learning how to do these skills. And it's like, how many videos do you need to watch before you just do the thing? Actually learn the thing, implement it in your life, and then come back and get more knowledge. There's only so much knowledge your brain can retain if you're not effectively doing it and learning from it. That's actually one of the most effective ways of learning, is by doing. So instead of, I don't know if this is you, but I know this is me, if you are spending a lot of time watching videos of the same kind and they're all just not tafsir, not Quran stuff, but they're just like how to be a more productive Muslim, how to make more money as a Muslim, 3 tips for Muslim wellness, the blah, blah, blah. They're good. And I love that there are more Muslim content creators in the space, but how many of those do you need to watch before you actually change and do the things in the videos? tough love, but I hope you receive it well. Yeah, and it says on here that if you listen to podcasts on Spotify and you continue to watch on YouTube, you can get easily distracted on shorts. Download, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Look into Unhooked. It's a great app that you can put onto your YouTube, and it blocks out your YouTube from other videos. I think I have a tutorial on my last YouTube video. If you want me to do a short or something, just comment Unhooked and I can do that. Assalamualaikum, sister. Are you a revert to Islam or raised Muslim? I feel like a lot of times people ask this question when you're black and they just assume that you're a revert to Islam, and there's nothing wrong with being a revert to Islam. My mother is, and she's one of the best Muslims that I know. But no, I was raised Muslim. Interestingly enough, my older 4 siblings were not raised Muslim. So, and all of my family are Christians. There's a couple Muslims here and there, but my family's filled with deacons and pastors. I grew up in a predominantly white conservative community. So it was really interesting growing up, but I think that's why I can get along with so many different types of people, is because I was raised around so many people who are different than me, so I can empathize with people's positions, and also when people are being a little bit more problematic, I can understand why they are the way that they are, whether that comes to like religion or just like political views or like human rights stuff. But yeah, I was raised Muslim, but I didn't really start self-educating until I was in college, and a big part of that was because of my husband, who was interested in Islam at the time, and I was like, I'm never going to marry someone who's not Muslim. But this guy's interested in Islam, and I don't really know that much about it. I know that I just am. So let me learn more about this. And we've been married, alhamdulillah, for almost 8 years now. And we got married in between. So my senior semester of college, we got married that winter break so that we could look for houses, because obviously I'm not moving in with no man that I'm not married to. So we started looking for apartments during my like spring semester, and literally the day of my graduation I left and moved to North Carolina, so 5 months after, and then we got our home, and have been happily ever after ever since. Inshallah, continuously happily ever after. Oh my goodness, bro. Between is this even pointing in the right direction? My camera just died. Like the thing stopped recording. Anyways, last question. So, how do you dress and remain modest while working out in the gym as a hijabi that doesn't like wearing pants? This is the thing stopping me from going to the gym. Oh no. Come to the fit hijabi side. Sis, it's lovely over here after many years of the modest athletic wear industry getting it together. So there's 3 brands that I really like. Get Fifth has workout abayas. If you're somebody who isn't comfortable with having knees down showing, they have a slit through the side for like safety reasons. If you're running, you need to be able to move your legs. If you're squatting, you need to be able to move your legs. But you shouldn't really see much of anything. I can have a video of me doing stuff in the workout abaya right over there. But I also really like Mansil, which is a couple-owned business. They have these really pretty, like, Merlot, long, with thumb holes, with pockets, I think. Super, super cute workout shirts. Then they have, like, oversized tees and things as well, which I like to wear. And then my homegirl, Alisar, hey girl, she has a brand called Rook, and they have beautiful workout shirts as well. Thumb holes, they have these pretty forest green colors, this tannish, like cream kind of color, which I've never really seen before. So these are great options. We no longer have to tie hoodies around our waist and wear t-shirts underneath baggy tees. It was a mess. Is that an ice cream truck? Girl, what in the 90s? Okay. So yeah, these are 3 athletic wear brands that I think are doing a great job. But please go to the websites to check them out. I also think I have affiliate codes with them to get you guys some money off. Check those out in the description box below. But yeah, that's it. I don't want anything else to die or stop recording. So inshallah, you guys found this video helpful. Inshallah, soon we will be in a new place. That has been a whole thing. I'm not going to say too much about it because we're not out of here yet. The tea, though, it is scorching. So inshallah, I'll let you guys know about that later. But yeah, between all this stuff with our current housing situation and not feeling well and grief and all the things, I haven't been super consistent. So I thank you guys for being patient with me. Inshallah, I'll be consistent again. If you want some more consistent touch points with me, I'm releasing a weekly newsletter, inshallah, every Sunday called Mindful Mornings. Little tiny snippet, just with some Quran reflections, du'as, health things that I'm doing for physical, mental, and emotional health, spiritual health. All that stuff is on there. It's like a 2-minute read. It's really nice way to get you started in the week. Because I don't feel like a lot of people in the mindfulness and wellness space come at it from an Islamic perspective. And then, of course, I have the Muslims Make Moves, the newsletter, which is a bit longer. Inshallah, I will be posting on here again soon. If you made it this far, comment your favorite emoji. And as always, Assalamualaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Please be recording. Oh, alhamdulillah. Yay!